Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
Anyway, there. You asked. Yeah, see, you asked. You don't want to know. My guest is investigative reporter Spencer Fernando. You can find his articles at SpencerFernando.com. Welcome back to the show, Spencer.
Good to be here.
Spencer, the SNC-Lavalin scandal surrounding Prime Minister Trudeau. Today, the Commons Ethics Committee turned down holding any hearings on it. What's your take on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it really seems like a cover-up. The opposition had wanted more witnesses brought forward. They wanted privilege waived, and the Liberals used their majority in the committee to shut it down. And what's really strange is that one of them said that, we don't need this investigation because the Justice Committee is looking into it, except they shut down the Justice Committee investigation last week, so they can't even get their messaging right. And yeah, I mean, this is obviously a cover-up at this point. They're obviously trying to hide it and just use their government power to block any real look into it.
Now, a political science professor I saw on TV today said, the longer they draw this out, the more damage it's going to do. Why don't they just hold full-out open hearings and waive all these privileges?
Yeah, well, I think what's interesting is that they're acting the way people who have something to hide would act. If they really didn't do anything wrong and it was just a misunderstanding, then an investigation would actually be helpful to them because then it would get to the truth and then reveal they didn't do anything wrong. So if they did do something wrong or they know that what they did won't be looked at in a positive way, then they'd be doing exactly what they're doing, which is try to block any investigation. It really makes me think that their calculation is that being accused of covering it up and shutting things down is the better alternative to them than what actually happened, being revealed. So that tells me that something pretty bad has gone on.
Does history tell us being honest is usually the best thing?
Well, yeah, in crisis management, they say that the best thing to do is release all the information quickly and really to release it yourself, so at least you have some control over the timing and how it's responded to. But what they're doing is the worst, which is to drag it out and contradict themselves. The latest thing that's really pretty disgusting is that they're now attacking a judge, trying to say the judge is, like anti-gay, anti-rights and freedoms, and then saying that Jody Wilson-Raybould wanted to appoint the conservative judge to the Supreme Court, and that's why the relationship started to fray, and that's why Trudeau ended up moving her, which is very interesting because no one's brought that up until now. They had a whole month they didn't bring that up, and they left her in that position for about a year after that breakdown allegedly occurred. So they're basically, and then they said that Trudeau rejected the judge for the Supreme Court, and then the judge released a statement saying that actually no, they weren't rejected, that they took themselves out of consideration because their wife has cancer. So the Liberals are now smearing a judge whose wife has cancer in an attempt to get out of the scandal. So it's really a new low for them, and it's just one thing after another.
Who is responsible for investigating a prime minister?
Well, there's different avenues. The best would be an independent public inquiry, because that would be more free of government control. The RCMP can investigate. The Liberals keep trying to push it to the Ethics Committee, but for one, the Ethics Commissioner is out sick and is going to be out for a while, according to his office. And the Ethics Commissioner has no real ability to actually bring punishments. They can just reach a conclusion. Trudeau was already found guilty of violating ethics statutes by the Ethics Commissioner and didn't even get a fine, or if he did, it's like a $500 fine. So they want it kept in the Ethics Commissioner because it's really a toothless position. And they don't want it to go anywhere else, and they're using their power to block it from going anywhere else. And it doesn't look like there's any... the RCMP may be investigating, who knows, but there's no word about that. And it seems pretty clear they're not going to appoint an independent investigation.
Now, could police investigate on their own if they thought there was a possible obstruction of justice?
Well, the RCMP could investigate if they wanted to. That's happened in the past. During the 2005 election campaign, in the middle of the campaign, actually, the NDP candidate had issued a request for the RCMP to investigate the Liberals, and the RCMP during the campaign announced that they were actually investigating, and that definitely hurt the Liberals' chances there. So certainly the RCMP has been willing, even during very political moments, to wade in and say they're investigating if they think wrongdoing occurred. We'll see if that happens here, but it doesn't look like it's happened so far. Although there was reports, I think about a week ago, that Trudeau and top people in the PMO have been hiring lawyers, so they're definitely preparing for a possible investigation.
Could a potential investigator be politicized?
Well, I think it would be. I think the Liberals will start attacking whoever investigated, because that's what they seem to be doing now, just attacking anyone who wants to look into it. So I think they would try to attack the RCMP if the RCMP looked into it.
Is that pretty typical in situations like this?
I think I remember in 2005 the Liberals were critical of the RCMP, or of the timing of the investigation. I don't know if they attacked the RCMP itself that much. But the political environment now seems much more divisive, so I think they would probably be much harsher. I wouldn't even be surprised if they would try to fire people and end the investigation that way.
Now, the boss of SNC said, we never said 9,000 jobs were on the line, nor did we ever say we'll move our head office out of Montreal if this court prosecution goes ahead. And then he said right after that, however, jobs are on the line over this criminal case. Is that a contraindicated message?
Well, yeah, I think it shows, first of all, that Trudeau was really lying. Him and all those people were lying when they said 9,000 jobs. That was just a talking point and kind of fear-mongering to try to get themselves out of the scandal. They keep trying different, and that's the other reason I think they're hiding something, because they keep trying different things to see if, will this work or is this going to work? If you have the truth on your side, you don't need to keep throwing out new tactics to see what works and what doesn't work. But yeah, for SNC-Lavalin, it's interesting because he said he never said the 9,000 jobs. And then a few days ago, SNC-Lavalin released a statement saying, we did tell the government it could be 9,000. So I think really they're trying to help the government out of their lie. They're trying to be seen as liberal friendly, and because they know maybe the Liberals are the only people that would give them the deal they want. So I really think that it's pretty shady stuff going on.
We'll have more with Spencer Fernando right after this.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp, RMO, on the TSX Venture Exchange. Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp is a Canadian-based mineral exploration project generator. The company currently holds multiple property interests in Ontario with joint venture partners and is seeking further joint venture partners for other drill-ready properties in our portfolio. For more information, please visit our website at rmroyalty.com or call me at 604-922-2030.
Cyprus Development Corp's Flagship Lithium project is located just east of Albemarle's Silver Peak mine in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. A 12-hole exploration drill program for lithium-enriched claystone on Cyprus's 100% controlled properties is now underway. Cyprus Development Corp trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the pink CYDVF, and on Frankfurt's C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cyprusdevelopmentcorp.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Spencer Fernando. Spencer, SNC says it's appalled and surprised Codelco has canceled their contract with them. I'm not sure what that project is, but are they now getting a reputation that perhaps they're not the best company to do business with?
Yeah, I mean, none of this looks good for them. When you have stories about buying hookers for the son of a dictator, that's not really too good for the brand of the company. And, I think people are saying, well, if there's another company they can work with, then why would you work with SNC-Lavalin, considering all the scandals that they're facing and kind of the uncertain future around them as a business, at least in Canada. So I think, I wouldn't be surprised to see more companies do that. I mean, SNC-Lavalin was banned for 10 years from World Bank contracts because of corruption issues, so not really the company you really want to associate yourself with at this point.
Right, and are questions being raised about their contract, $1.6 billion to build a light rail transit system in Ottawa?
Yeah, there were three companies who bidded for the contract. There was a qualification, 70% minimum qualification that had to be reached, technical qualification. The two other companies met it easily and exceeded it. SNC-Lavalin didn't meet it, which should mean that you aren't included, because, I mean, if you don't meet the basic qualification, that should mean you're automatically not eligible. But instead, the two companies that did meet it didn't get the contract, and SNC-Lavalin did get it. So again, it seems like a kind of shady, corrupt thing going on there. Not exactly sure what the case is, but for a company that didn't meet the qualifications to get it over two that did, you got to think there's some sort of political interference or influence going on there.
Mm-hmm. And of course, here in BC, we have, at least a dozen projects involving SNC, the Site C dam construction, the building of the Canada line for the Olympics, other projects like that, and they gave perhaps $200,000, $300,000 to the BC Liberal Party. How is a political contribution any different than a bribe?
Well, exactly. I mean, you shouldn't be allowed to give any money like that. I mean, it makes no sense at all. And it obviously is a bribe. I mean, it's maybe technically not illegal. It's within the system, but it functions the exact same. I mean, you give money to people in a position of influence, which will shade them in the direction you want them to go in. So, yeah, it's legalized bribery, really. And I do think maybe one of the good things, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the NDP there actually made those donations illegal.
Yes, they have. Yes.
Yeah. So not a fan of much the NDP does, but on that one, I think that's a good move, and that definitely removes an avenue of corruption. So I think that's positive. And but yeah, I mean, again, if a big company can give loads of money to the political party in power, and those same people who are getting that money or benefiting from it politically are the ones making a decision on which company gets contracts, well, yeah, these companies aren't just giving money away just to be nice. They expect something from it. It's an investment to them. And yeah, it's legalized bribery, and it's pretty concerning.
We'll have more with Spencer Fernando right after this.
Arctic Star Exploration, operated by a team of proven mine finders, is focused on diamonds in Finland and the Northwest Territories of Canada. Work programs are underway in Finland and Canada. Arctic Star trades on the TSX Venture Exchange symbol ADD, on Frankfurt symbol 82A1, and the OTCQB symbol ASDZF. Please visit our website arcticstar.ca or call us at 604-689-1799.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Spencer Fernando. Spencer, a judge has ruled that Omar Khadr has finished his 8-year sentence for terrorism. I guess it means he's a free man. What's your opinion on that entire case involving what originally was a 15-year-old suspected terrorist?
Yeah, well, I think it's been just embarrassing, the whole way the thing's been handled. I mean, there's people in jail for things that are obviously where no one was even killed or no one was hurt. And yeah, this guy's gonna not only it's enough that he's walking free. That's concerning enough. But to get $10.5 million from the government, I mean, it's crazy. It's like all along the way, the system has basically been about rewarding him, which to me is just insane. I mean, he admitted to throwing a grenade that killed someone who was fighting on the same side as Canadian soldiers were fighting at the time. So to me, it's outrageous that, they say, well, he's 15 years old. Okay, well, people, that doesn't mean you give him $10.5 million. I mean, and nothing even has really anything to do with what Canada did. So other countries, if they made a mistake, then they should be paying for it, but Canada should be paying for it. And apparently he's bought a mall now, and I mean, now he's going to be free to travel and do whatever. So yeah, it's quite a sick system when you have people who follow the rules, they're ethical, they're moral, they live their whole lives, they do the right thing, play by all the rules, and they struggle financially their whole life. And this guy kills somebody, admits to it. Fighting for an enemy of Canada, by the way. These are people who were fighting against Canada and her allies, and then gets a massive financial reward. And he's really going to get to live a life of luxury for the rest of his life. So that seems pretty backwards.
The driver in the Humboldt Bronco fatal driving case getting 8 years on 18 counts of dangerous driving, 16 dead, 13 injured. Was 8 years enough of a message?
That's a tough one. I think he's obviously remorseful. He did somewhat, he admitted to it, so there's more the families could have been put through if he had tried to fight it more. So I think that's did the right thing in terms of how he handled the guilty plea and everything. The idea that it's so many people dead in just 8 years, that doesn't seem like enough time to me. The only thing I'd say that mitigates that is the fact that he's certainly going to be deported after, because he's not a Canadian citizen. He's permanent resident, so he'll be deemed inadmissible to Canada, I believe, after he serves his sentence. So he's going to be, his life in Canada is finished. He's going to be in jail for 8 years, and then he's going to be sent out of the country. So I think all in all, probably not enough time in jail, but the fact that he's going to be removed from the country does mitigate that somewhat.
Does the case itself underline the need for better and more extensive training for transport truck drivers?
I think so. You're putting really a huge piece of metal moving very fast in the hands of someone that can do incredible damage, as we saw in a very short period of time, and take many lives. So I think you have to have the best trained people. And, I'm not a big fan of government regulation, but in situations where there's obvious danger to the public, if there's a mistake made and inexperience, then there does need to be regulation there. And that's certainly one of those cases. And, you can't have people driving around, not at all, but really, especially when you're talking about a huge semi-truck, who don't have the proper experience and skill to be doing that, because, people die.
Now, these numbers might be a little out, but it's something like semi-trailer trucks are involved in 6% of accidents, but 20% of fatalities. So the responsibility you carry is pretty big.
Yeah, if two, to use an example, if two small, what's that car, like
one of those smart cars?
Smart cars or a Nissan Leaf or something. If two of those crash in a city, most likely nobody dies. You never know, but if semi hits anything on the highway, the semi driver is probably not going to be hurt, but anyone in the other vehicle is certainly going to be either horribly injured or is going to die. So again, it's a bigger risk, it's a bigger danger, and that means there has to be, I think, higher standards for it.
China canceling its orders for canola from Canada, is that political?
Oh yeah, it's totally political. For years and years, Canada's been sending canola there. And now just when the whole Main Wanzhou thing is going on, they just happen to find problems. That's how China operates. Everything there is political. It's all controlled by the Communist Party. Anyone who thinks otherwise is just naive. And, so it's totally political. But again, this is, I've seen people say that, it needs to get resolved and we need to keep sending stuff there. I can understand that from the perspective of, farmers. That's difficult. So I think the government has to be standing by to provide them some financial assistance. But this is something I've been saying for a long time, is that we need to start shifting our trade away from China. You can't have it both ways. We can't be saying, China is terrible on human rights, but we want to keep trading with them. I think we should say, China, the way the Communist Party operates, those are not our values, and we're going to start shifting trade away from that country. It's not reliable. If we follow the rule of law there and they disagree with it, then they'll start cutting us off, and you can't make. If we deepen our ties to them, then we put ourselves more at risk to their political whims, and that really lessens our control over our own country. And it's not a smart situation for a sovereign country to be in. So I think we should start shifting our trade more to countries. India, for example, India is going to be growing for a long time. Lots of economic potential there. Values line up much better. And we should also strengthen interprovincial trade. We have so many trade barriers within our own provinces. So. Yeah, I think we need to, and you can't do it quickly, but we need to start shifting our focus away from China.
Yeah, I've heard up to $60 billion a year is lost or it costs because of interprovincial trade barriers. Beer made in BC isn't welcome in Alberta or Ontario. Ontario wines aren't sold in BC, although why would you want one? And, but again, it should be open. Why, is it that it's easier to import wine from Chile than it is from Ontario?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never understood any of the Canadian politicians who go around the world and they go on TV and say, Canada is a nation that believes in openness and free trade. Yeah, but we can't even trade freely within our own country. So how can you have any credibility going around the world talking about free trade when one province can't trade with the other? So, again, it's, I think sometimes Canadian politicians are too focused on the rest of the world, not focused enough what's happening here at home. And I think we should look at trading between our own country before we focus so much on trading with other countries, especially countries like China, where it can just be blocked at a whim. You're just dealing with a different case, and we can't just sell out. Oh, we just want a little more profit, so we're going to sell out our values and trade more with China. I don't think that's in the long run. That's not going to turn out good for us. Spencer,
thank you so much for chatting with us.
Yeah, it was good to be here.
My guest has been investigative reporter Spencer Fernando. You can find his articles at spencerfernando.com. You're listening to the Goddard Report on TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Find us on Twitter at TalkDigitalNet, our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. Questions for our guests like Fernando or anybody else can be sent to info@HowStreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.